Hello and welcome back to Canuck Park Hopper. I'm Scott, and today I want to start talking about D23. If you're like, Scott, D23 technically just started today, Friday, August 14th. What's there to talk about already? Well, last night on Thursday, August 13th, Disney unveiled a ton of information about some of the lands and attractions that we've already known about, but giving us way more insight on what they are. They've unveiled everything from new concept art, to new models, to ride vehicles. There's so much to talk about already, so let's dive right in. First up, let's look at Piston Peak, the new cars area coming to Magic Kingdom. Before this, we've been given some concept art, actually 2 pieces of concept art relating to this project, but now we finally got the model for it, and it is incredible. Let's take a deeper dive into it. You can see there are some beautiful landscapes here. Some mountainous areas, obviously lots of forested area. There's water, there's geysers, there's a lot of kinetic energy in here. I cannot wait for this to actually come to life. As I mentioned with the mountainous areas, there's good height to this land. There's good integration with Big Thunder Mountain, as you can see over on the side here. It looks like it'll flow in quite well. Over with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, you can see the land, the walkway, actually looks lower than it is now. It's almost on par with Tiana's, with that loop coming off the big drop. So that's going to be kind of cool. It's going to change the whole dynamic of what the park is like right now. And not only do we have the model, but in behind the model, there is some new artwork, and it is absolutely stunning. The artwork seems to show the perspective as right as you're entering Frontierland from Liberty Square, kind of right in front of the Diamond Horseshoe. It looks like it gives great views of that mountainous range, the waterfalls falling down. There seems to be, obviously not the rivers of America, but a little bit of water through there to give it some great kinetic energy. And then it does look like there's even the pathway of the ride vehicles for the rally racing ride that's going to be going through there. So it looks like the cars will be driving through there. It doesn't look like it's going to be too overbearing on cars there, which is good. It looks more like just like natural landscape. Now, does it scream Frontierland? Not exactly. Like, it's not really looking at like horses and cowboys and stuff, but hopefully it looks really cool in person, and hopefully it meshes okay as well. Though I'm still not sure Cars was the best idea to put in like 1800s Frontierland. It does look like the Imagineers have put a ton of care into this land and are trying to integrate it as well as possible. It looks beautiful, and it looks like the Cars area is really going to be contained into the middle of it, so hopefully it doesn't affect the surroundings around it. Speaking of which, we can finally see better views of what it's going to look like from the Haunted Mansion. This has been one of my biggest points of contention with all of this, as I'm a huge Haunted Mansion fan, as I know a bunch of you are. So let's take a look at what it's going to look like coming out from the mansion. So right in front of the mansion, you can see that the Haunted Mansion and this new Cars area are going to be separated by a walking path, and then it looks like lots of trees. There's going to be a tree wall. This is decent. Is it as good as having Rivers of America right outside of it? No, but it looks like it'll be okay. It looks like there will be some separation there, so you're not going to be looking out from the Gothic Haunted Mansion onto animated cars. I hope they talk about this a little bit more. I don't know that they will, but it would be nice just to comfort me and all of you, all of us big fans of the Haunted Mansion, to let us know that they've put care into this to not ruin the vibes of the Haunted Mansion with this whole new area. I'm sure they have, but a little bit more reassurance would be nice. And one other point to make is we finally have confirmation of what they're building kind of in behind the Haunted Mansion. In my last D23 predictions video, I talked about how this could potentially be a Haunted Mansion parlor like they have on the Disney cruise ships, or it could be maybe a queue extension in there, but we've finally been given confirmation. It is indeed restrooms. Now, we can't see much from this picture. We don't know if it's going to be themed to more Haunted Mansion, or more Villains Land, or more Cars. It kind of looks like Cars, but there we go. We got new restrooms. It makes sense. We're going to need restrooms in this area. There's going to be a ton of walking traffic between Piston Peak, Haunted Mansion, Villains Land in behind. It makes sense. Are we all a little disappointed? Yeah, but oh well. Now we can pee. And the one last thing to talk about with Piston Peak are the rides coming to this area. We've always known about the Rally Racer ride, but then there was the secret second attraction that hadn't been announced yet, and though it still technically hasn't, I'm sure that's coming this weekend, in the model, we can see what the second ride is. And as I mentioned in my predictions video, it does look like it'll just be a clone of Mater's Junkyard Jamboree over in California Adventure. Makes sense. It's Cars, it's easy, it's family friendly, doesn't take up much space, has decent ride capacity. we kind of knew that's what this was going to be. And we also got a better look at the ride vehicles for the Rally Racer ride. You can see that they hold 6 people, just like the Cars ride in California Adventure, but it's a very different Cars ride. You can see they are more like ATV style, Jeep style vehicles, as opposed to the sleek racing cars like they have over there. It is similar. It looks like it's a tracked ride. Also not that unexpected. I know some people were thinking it was going to be trackless. Track just makes more sense. Okay, now that we've talked about Piston Peak and Magic Kingdom, let's head over to Animal Kingdom and look at some of the things coming over there. Though we've already seen the model for Tropical Americas, it was shown at one of the past D23 presentations, and then it is now in Walt Disney Presents in Hollywood Studios. Here we get a little bit more in-depth views of what's coming. So let's start off by looking at the Encanto ride. First up, it looks like we finally have confirmation of what the ride vehicle is. People were thinking maybe a boat ride, maybe an Omnimover. It looks like it will be a trackless dark ride. That makes the most sense. It looks like each ride vehicle will hold 8 people. I believe that's what it is in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and Rise of the Resistance, so that makes sense as well. And we actually got a view of some of the animals that it's going to be throughout the rides. We have a donkey, a toucan, and a capybara. I'm hoping these will be animatronics. I'm sure they will be animatronics. This ride looks like it's going to be quite cool. In the same area of the showcase, we got some confirmation of some of the animals that are going to be on the carousel right next to the Encanto attraction. We see a couple animals. We see a pelican, we see a pig, which kind of looks like Pua from Moana, we see a capybara, and we see a donkey who obviously looks like Eeyore. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't paid a ton of attention to this ride as it's not really up my alley. It's obviously more of a children's ride, so maybe they already announced this, but are all of the animals on it gonna be based off other IPs? I kind of get the feel of that. I don't know what the toucan is or what the capybara is. Maybe you can tell me in the comments, but I wonder what the other animals will be. It looks like it'll be a cool attraction. Will I ride it? Probably not. Will I look at it? Definitely. And then lastly, they showcased the facade of the temple for the Indiana Jones attraction. And it looks incredible. There's so much detailing to it. It looks like a worthy East Coast sister to the Temple of the Forbidden Eye over in Disneyland. Now, the one thing they don't show on this model is the backing of the building. So if you remember Dinosaur, it had the Institute there and the Institute kind of wrapped around. So the temple is only going to be in the middle. I kind of hope they just block it with rocks and trees and stuff. So our illusion is that it's just this temple in the middle of this rocky forest. Please cover it well. I'm sure they will. Imagineers always do great with that kind of stuff, but it kind of scares me that they only showed off the temple here. I'm still hoping we get a little bit more info on this ride throughout the weekend. Like maybe a ride vehicle, although they could have shown off the ride vehicle here, so maybe we won't get that. But maybe some more concept art, maybe some more confirmation of what the storyline is. Anything. An animatronic, I don't know. But I hope we get a little bit more info on this. Indiana Jones over in Disneyland is my favorite attraction, so I hope that this one is the same or better than that one. And I really hope they pull it off. Now, one other diorama that they showed off has to deal with the West Coast, with the Avatar expansion coming to California Adventure. First off, it looks like they confirmed that Avatar is still coming to California Adventure and it is not going to be replaced by Zootopia. So that puts that rumor to bed. The model here looks great. Very different from the Animal Kingdom one, but just as grand and fantastical. I like that they're different. I like that Pandora is based off the first movie, and this seems to be based off the second and third movies. I like the difference. I like that they complement each other, but they're completely different lands. I'm not a big fan of when they just copy-paste things from park to park, so at least this is different. You can see in here too that there's an outdoor boat ride, or at least an outdoor portion of a boat ride, which has me so excited. I hope it's just an outdoor portion that comes out, people can see it out in the sun of California, and then it goes into the show building and shows off scenes. I'm sure that's what it actually is, but it has me very excited. And they show off the boat itself, which has a huge ride capacity, holding 24 people per vehicle. So though this will be probably a slower boat ride, hopefully it is a people eater by just pumping people into these boats over and over. And one thing to note from this model, you can see the monorail on the side. But it's not a full model, so we don't really know exactly where the monorail is going. But it does confirm that Avatar will be coming to the Hollywood backlot area as it was announced. But a lot of us, myself included, still thought it was going to get moved maybe to the Disneyland Forward area. But no, it looks like it is going in that area, and they're going to work the monorail through somehow. Now, the funny thing about this model is, like I just mentioned, it's not a full model. It's just the backing facade. Is this it? Or are they just showing us kind of half of it? Is Avatar actually going to be a whole Avatar land? Or maybe this is just going to be some crazy elaborate ride facade on one side. I kind of hope it's a land, and I kind of hope they enclose it, because otherwise it's just going to look weird. You're going to look down Hollywood Boulevard and you're going to turn and be like, oh, I'm in Pandora. It's weird. But there you have it. There are some of the huge models and dioramas and concept art that they showed us already. The event hasn't even technically started, and we've already got that much. They also did drop a couple little details about Carousel of Progress and Monstropolis. I won't go into details with those right now just because they didn't give us that much info. I'm sure they'll talk about it later, so I will talk about this in the future. But for right now, there's so much that's blowing my mind. I can't wait to see what else comes this weekend, especially with the Horizons Disney Experience Showcase, where they're going to delve into everything to do with the parks and give us all of this plus so much more. That presentation, hosted by Neil Patrick Harris, is going to be on Saturday night, August 15th, and it's actually going to be live streamed. It starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so make sure to tune in to see what gets announced. Thanks for coming along with me and discussing what we've seen so far. What is you most excited? Which of these lands do you think is going to be the coolest? Are you happy with what you see here? Do you wish things were different? Let me know in the comments. I want to talk about everything D23. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, as it will really help the channel grow. And if you want more theme park content, including more Disney and D23 content, please hit that subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Canuck Park Hopper for more theme park fun. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the parks.